For the past few weeks, I've been building and tweaking some of the most powerful,
Oh, wow. Look at the damage.
fastest, and sleekest Nerf blasters money can't buy. Blasters so ridiculously powerful, no toy company in their right mind would ever sell them to you.
Oh my god, it went through.
And in this video, we're going to see what it takes to build them, where you might run into speed bumps should you decide to build them.
Oh, there goes more magic smoke. Well, that's not a good thing.
And just what they're capable of if you make just one little change that you definitely shouldn't try at home.
Oh,
Dang! Let's get after it. So, first things first, let me come clean with you. I lied. In the intro, I said that these were Nerf blasters that money can't buy, but the truth of the matter is money actually can buy them, and you actually can get ready-made versions of these blasters from a company called Frontline Foam. But what's the fun in that? This channel is all about DIY, 3D printing, and actually building cool, custom, and personalized projects. So obviously, I opted for the kits. Frontline Foam was kind enough to send over these 3 kits free of charge with no strings attached, so all opinions on that are my own. With that said, I'll put some referral links in the description, which cost you nothing if you do use them, but they do help support the channel if you want to build one of these. As for the printer, we're mostly going to be using the new K2 Pro combo from this video's sponsor, Creality. Yes, you could easily print all of these parts on a much more basic printer like an Ender 3. Actually, funny story, I was on vacation at a friend's house when I wanted to assemble one of them, and I realized that one of my parts had broken on the way in the trunk of the car, so I actually did print one of the major parts for this one on an Ender. But because I do want to try out some more unique and higher temperature materials, an enclosed printer, especially one like the K2 Pro with its active chamber heating and air filtration, is really going to unlock much more capability. Which leads us to the filament. According to Frontline Foam, your basic PLAs and PETGs are absolutely fine for these blasters. But since I don't plan on being particularly gentle, and because I do want to be able to, say, leave these in the car if I take my kids camping for a weekend, I opted for some more capable and higher temp materials. For the Lepus, we're going to be combining Polymaker's Polysonic PLA Pro with their Neon UV Reactive Magenta ABS. For the Zinc, I chose a combination of Polymaker's Polylite Galaxy Black ABS with their Neon Yellow ABS on top. I also followed it up with some Blendmaker PLA Pro for the bits that need to be orange in order to keep me from getting taken out by the popo when I use these things out in public later in the video. And finally, for the big mamma jamma, the Caliburn, I decided to combine Polymaker's Polylite PETG in white with some Sunlu Bright Orange PETG, though this one I did decide to print on the Creality K2 Plus because I was impatient. I figured while I was at it that I would take advantage of the Creality filament system that is compatible with both the K2 Pro and the K2 Plus, and that I would add some cool multicolor accents to the blaster. Unfortunately, I also did something that Creality expressly warns against, and which the printer actually told me that it detected, and I attached an articulating poop chute type tube to the back of the printer. Well, predictably, that poop chute clogged up. And while the printer's AI monitoring did detect it, I had set it to not notify me of any faults and not stop my prints. Oops. So yeah, the print failed, and at that point, I didn't have enough white PETG left to finish the blaster. So as you can see, some of the parts are also finished off in transparent PETG. Let me know in the comments below, is it ugly enough to justify reprinting those parts, or should I just leave it the way it is? Other than that, all the parts turned out beautifully across both of these different printers from Creality, whether it was the PETG, ASA, or ABS. And I'm really enjoying the fact that so many printers are shipping with heated and actively filtered chambers. It makes printing ABS, which, in case you didn't know, is way better than PETG, don't fight me on that, an absolute joy. I also really appreciated that Creality is now shipping the K2 Pro with one of these gold PEI sheets, because in my opinion, they're way better than the black type that came on the K2 Plus. The adhesion was even so good that I was able to print these little darts in ABS with the little fins on the bottom as the only contact point for reasons that we'll get into later. I like these gold plates so much that I actually just upgraded my K2 Plus with a Wham Bam Authentic Ultim PEI build plate to get this same experience. Oh, and I'll also put a link to the K2 Pro in the description below in case you're looking for a 300 by 300 fully enclosed and multicolor capable printer. With all of the parts printed, let's get into the build experience for each one of these blasters. Because, as I said before, I am quite impatient, I decided to start out with building the big kahuna, the Caliburn 4. Surprisingly, the entire build only took like 2 sessions of an hour or so each. I used the written instruction, which I generally prefer, and I found them to be mostly clear and straightforward. This is actually the second blaster of this size that I've built on the channel. I'll link in the description to the other video I did on the Cynthia blaster, and both times I've actually been really surprised and impressed by the ease and speed with which something this big goes together. But don't let that fool you. They are very sturdy and very powerful, as you'll see when we head out to test them. The next build was the Zinc, a quote-unquote side piece. I'm not really a gun guy, so it feels weird to me to use that slang. I have to say that even printing the files was a little overwhelming for this one, as there are 3 different versions of the actual blaster, and then a ton of different upgrades with no explanation as to what the pros and cons of each of the different modifications are. Additionally, I found that unlike the Caliburn, which leveraged all kinds of really cool tricks to make the parts more 3D printable, the Zinc, or at least the optional upgrades that I decided on, were far from optimized for 3D printing, with curved overhangs that ideally do require supports. Now here, I actually wasn't able to find an instructional PDF for the Zinc, so I had to follow along with the video from Frontline Foam. It was helpful, but there were still some really challenging parts of the build that required very small fingers and finesse or some other trait that I clearly don't have. In that video, they said that they're able to build one of these in about 5 or 6 minutes. I think mine took like an hour and a half. Okay, maybe 2. I have really big hands, okay? Anyways, despite some unclear areas and mistakes, for example, I would love to know why they sent 2 different springs for this blaster and which one offers which benefit. I did get it going, and I was able to get it to fire here in the studio. All right, test run. Gotta be honest, pretty terrified of this thing. It's very strong, and it feels like if I got my fingers stuck in there, it would be game over. I also don't understand how it was firing before when I just did this. Okay, good. We're good. Here we go. Please don't blow up in my fingers. Back to the drawing board, maybe. Oh, that's powerful. That is a very powerful little handpiece. We gotta go outside with this. But before we test it out properly, we first need to get over the final boss, the Lepus. This is my first ever automatic or battery powered blaster, and I'm very glad that I kept it for the end because it proved to be much more challenging to build. First, there's the instruction guide. Here, once again, I was only able to find a 4-year-old video from Frontline Foam on YouTube, and a lot of small different things had changed. For example, they're now using different trigger switches, and the locations of the red dots on the motor didn't match what was in the video, which then caused me to solder and resolder things a few times before I was able to get the motors spinning in the right orientation. To Frontline Foam's credit, I did email them and they immediately provided me with a much more helpful slide deck, which clarified all the areas where I went amiss. But because of time zone differences, I unfortunately didn't get that until I'd already built and then rebuilt the blaster 3 or 4 times. Also, unfortunately, even once I got the motors spinning in the right direction, my problems were far from over.
I know, this is super cliche, but say hello to my little friend. He's sleeping.
First, there was the fact that one of the flywheels was rubbing against the top housing.
It works without the top. Sometimes. And whenever I close it up, it doesn't shoot. Yeah, this shaving here probably isn't helping anything. Seems like something's rubbing up against this thing.
Now, I'm not sure what happened here because it was only happening on one side. Instead of removing and then reseating the motor, I chose to just Dremel out a small part of that area and that fixed the problem.
All right, I went ahead and gave the motor a little breathing room. Let's see if it makes a difference. Okay, again, low expectations. Let's see if it's fixed. I mean, that's something, right?
Well then.
Could it be that the textured surface here is not letting this rub or push, and it's rubbing up against this? Maybe. Let's sand it, find out. Maybe a little bit of lubrication as well. Can't hurt, right? Let's see what happens.
Then I somehow let out some magic smoke.
Well, I appear to have let the magic smoke out of this motor. That sucks. Oh, there goes more magic smoke. Well, that's not a good thing. I think that's the end of that.
Though I later did manage to get it back in, so that was good.
Well, great. Now we're out of battery. To be continued.
The next day.
All right, we're back for another day with a charged battery. And let's go ahead and install it. And we shall see if it makes a difference with this sanded top. Let's find out. Let's try a dab of lubrication just in case that helps. Moment of truth. I have no expectations at this point. What? That's the whole clip. Are you serious?
Oh my god. Let's do that again.
Say hello to my little friend.
Really? Not reliable. Now we just need to find somewhere to actually test them where I'm not gonna get shot. Maybe a playground isn't the best place. Start out with the Zinc. Here we go. Nice. Didn't work. Caliburn, take a step back. Oh, wow, that's really hard. Oh, baby. Oh man, we are gonna need to order more darts because this thing's got some range. All right, let's try this one. Let's try a manual shot first. Okay, that ground down my dart. I'm not sure why. And still, no matter how many times I tried, tweaked, and tried again, I just couldn't get the blaster to fire properly. 2 out of 3 blasters breaking is not a huge success, but let's be honest, the real success is that no one called the police on me. So that's pretty good. Let's go back to the studio, see if we can't get these guys fixed up. I think I figured out the issue, which is this is turning, it's hitting here. Sometimes it's getting stuck there, and then it can't push the darts out anymore. So I'm gonna see if maybe changing the profile of this, just shaving it a little bit, that might fix it. And frankly, this could be just pointed like an arrowhead, and it should do the job. I don't know why it's this way. Let's find out. All right, let's see if that makes a difference. Going in here, and is it still gonna get stuck? One way to find out.
All right, this is the final attempt, honestly. There we go.
In the end, all the filing, oiling, and finagling seem to have worked 90% because the blaster only jams once in a while, and other than that, it does seem to shoot pretty well. So now, with all 3 blasters working here in the studio, it's time to head out into the wild and test them out with some foam darts before we get into the more dangerous stuff. All right, part 2. Nerf blaster testing. I got my 2 side pieces here. I got my main piece. A lot of people are looking at me, but hopefully no one calls the police. Let's try this out. All right, we're gonna start out with the Zinc. Here we go. Hey, not bad. Gotta aim a little higher than I thought. There we go, we got a hit. Beautiful. See if we can hit the camera. Not even close. All right, now we're gonna shoot the Caliburn from progressively further back. So first shot, maybe 20 meters. God, that slaps. All right, let's go further back. 30 meters. Oh my, out of the park. 40 meters, give or take. Oh, wow. Actually out of the park. All right, let's go for broke. See how far this thing can shoot. Probably 100 meters, maybe 80 meters. Nice.
Okay, just for a little perspective, this is where I am, and that all the way over there, you see that in the distance? That's the target, which obviously I am not hitting, but we're making it all the way over there.
Oh, the Lepus. Still gotta fix that. We'll get there. One day. There it is. All 3 blasters are working, much bigger success this time, but I keep getting this intrusive thought. Maybe I've been watching too much Mike Shake, but I kept wondering as I was watching the darts slow down in the air, how much further would they fly and how much more powerful would they be if they were made out of hard plastic and had a little more mass? I think we should find out. Okay, so I found these awesome darts. There's a few different remixes. They look pretty dangerous, but come on, we gotta try them. I think I'm gonna model up my own exact version of this because those look dangerous as hell. I'm still gonna try them, but let's get a accurate one that looks like this as well.
All right, normal dart, point blank range. Oh my God, it went through. Oh wow, we might need to reassess. I'm in shock. This is the plastic replica dart. That was a bad idea. Here we go. Oh! Wow. It left a dent in the wood. Like a big one. Still intact. Damn. Okay, I don't think the cardboard box is doing this time. Hollow tip. Scared. Oh! Wow. Look at the damage. That would really do some damage. Now the dangerous ones. Here we go. Oh man, this is a bad idea. 1, 2, 3. Ah! Oh man. That would definitely pierce the skin. I think we need to go get a watermelon.
Let's go shoot some shit. Hope we get away with it. Alright, first we got our plastic replica dart. Eye protection on. I'm scared that it's gonna ricochet, so maybe I'll stand off center. Here we go. Oh wow! It actually made a dent. Like really got in there. Wow. Yeah, I didn't expect the flat one to do it.
So the rest of them, I don't know what to expect. Next is gonna be the hollow point. Stand off center a little bit. Oh! That's definitely puncturing the skin. That's definitely a serious injury. That is breaking the skin and going through muscle. Look at that, it went almost all the way in. That's not even the sharp one. And now let's try the sharp ones. 2 and 3. Oh! Dang! It cracked the whole melon. Okay, now I think we need to see how they fly. This park is empty, don't worry, and that building over there is uninhabited. Let's see how the sharp ones fly. Ready? Oh my God! Out of the park, but they're definitely not flying straight. Here's a distance test for the hollow tip. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Oh, wow. Over the fence. Okay, one more test of the sharp-tipped one. Here we go. 1, 2, and... Yeah, they don't fly straight, but they fly far. Better design is needed. By the way, these are still completely intact. A little messy on the bottoms because I printed with brims. Maybe that's why they're not flying that well. But, like, they're still holding even after all that torture. So, yeah. These things are insanely powerful, even potentially deadly if shot with hard ammo. And while I do have another intrusive thought that involves stopping the print midway and inserting a ball bearing to see just how much more insane things can get with a little bit of weight in these darts, I probably shouldn't. But still, I gotta be honest, I did not expect the normal foam darts to puncture through cardboard so easily. In a way, that's really cool because it does mean that you can shoot long ranges for some pretty epic outdoor battles. But it also means that you need to exercise a lot of judgment. Protective eyewear is a must here, and these probably aren't a good option for having fun with your kids. Honestly though, I really wish we lived in a world where high-powered Nerf guns were the scariest weapons that any child, anywhere, had to worry about. Anyways, let me once again thank Frontline Foam for sending over these awesome kits to play with. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to try out building one of these and support them and the channel in the process. And of course, let me once again thank Creality for sponsoring this project and providing the K2 Pro to actually get it done. Once again, if you're looking for a large, multicolor printer capable of printing engineering-grade materials safely, I'll leave a link in the description where you can find out more about this and their other printers with the latest prices and availability. That's all for this week, but I'll see all of you on the next layer. All right, does it still taste good?
Yeah.